Hey guys, welcome to the English Shooting weekly live stream. I'm sorry for the change of venue, and of course with there being everything that's going on at the moment, you've got to adapt and overcome. So obviously I'm not in the gun room. There are no guns to be holding and showing you, unfortunately, tonight, which means that we can go back to YouTube. And I thought, after a lot of people actually commenting that they weren't able to watch the streams on Facebook, that's why I've been uploading them to YouTube as well. I just thought it would be a great opportunity to sort of go back to old school. And of course, English Shooting started and always will be a YouTube channel, so I thought it was important to, you know, the people that can't get it live on Facebook to, you know, use the best of a bad situation and go back to YouTube for live streams. So as always guys, if there's any issues with the audio or setup, I'm running everything solo tonight, so I haven't used the software for a while, so I don't know how good it's going to come out, but let me know about the audio, about the video. Any problems, just put in the comment section, and any questions. Again, I like these to be as interactive as possible, so please put as many questions that you have, anything, any topics you just want to chat about, put in the comment section below as well. And of course, we always beg and plead, please hit the thumbs up button, please share the video and the stream as well, invite friends that want to join in. I'm sure many of you are sat at home bored senseless looking at the wonderful weather that we have at the moment through a window. And of course, I'm going to have to multitasking. I'm managing the stream, making sure everything's okay, whilst having to read your questions and your comments. So do bear with me. It is going to be a little trickier than usual with having Connors and Alex running the stream as well. But I just want to start off and just check how everyone is. You know, this is a really bad situation. It's getting worse and worse by the day, not to be all doom and gloom. I'm sure many of you have come on here to escape from reality for an hour, but we can't not talk about it. It's such a this is potentially a life-changing event that we're going through at the moment. So I want to make sure, you know, that everyone's okay, everyone's taking the precautions, that, you know, all the precautions that they can, and certainly that's what we're doing here. So the reason why I'm in the office rather than over in the gun room is because the gun room is closed at the moment. I know that Alex is thinking of doing sort of a delivery / pickup service for people that are out doing a sort of essential shooting work, so that they can come and get ammunition or spare parts, or even have maintenance done to their gun. If you are in absolute dire need of something, you can drop Bluefield Sports a message, and I'm sure Alex will try and sort you out as possible. But the gun room is sort of a no-go for me. We're trying to stay as isolated as possible. It's quite hard with Connors and I. We are used to working side by side all of the time, and working in the same office, and we've had to obviously distance ourselves a little bit. And of course, you know, what we're doing isn't necessarily essential to the public safety or the country's general running, but we're both self-employed. If we don't work, we don't earn. Of course, there was the announcement today about the measures that they're bringing in for self-employed people. Unfortunately for Connors and I, both of us are pretty much exempt from any help, mainly because we haven't been self-employed long enough. We haven't got enough books to be able to demonstrate earnings. So yeah, we've sort of been left up creek without a paddle, as I'm sure many people have, and we're just trying to, you know, get as much income and sort of keep the businesses running as smoothly as possible. So, you know, Magload is still running, it is still shipping out orders. If you want to help Connors and I, please go over to magload.co.uk and have a look at any of the really Gucci gear that we have for sale on there. That's really the best way that you can the best thing you can do to support the channel. But yeah, how are you all guys coping? Are any of you managing to get any sort of shooting done at all, or is it just cleaning all the guns you've been saying over the past years that you're going to clean, and now you've finally got the time to do it? How you know, I know there's many people all over the world that watch the English Shooting channel and the live streams. So how is it where you are if you're not based in the UK? And yeah, I just hope that everyone's keeping safe. So I just go through and have a look at some of your comments. Just keep them coming through, and I'll try and deal with them as quickly as I can. So have I ever shot a Pana dart? I think I know what you're talking about. I think actually Alex might even have a couple, if that's the same thing. Oh, we've got a friend. Oh, she wants to go out. Go on then. So it's Nala, the office cat. She's probably just going to let herself out in a second. No, I don't think I have actually shot any Pana darts. I keep meaning to do more and more videos on crossbows and bow and arrows and stuff like that. Again, still target sports, not necessarily shooting sports. Are you going to go? It's getting cold in here. Go on, off you go. You need to shut the window. I only just got this place warmed up. So yeah, if I do some videos on crossbows, I'll have a look at to Pana darts and sort of explore them a bit more for myself. David Kiddle, yes, couldn't agree more. You know, stuff has gone bad when McDonald's has to close. I literally cannot remember a single day where McDonald's has had to shut. So yeah, you know, things are getting bad. Gary, favorite 2.2 round? Yours is CCI Mini Mag. I have to agree. CCI Mini Mag. We use it as a test in the gun room. Pretty much, if there's a gun that isn't cycling or has issues of some kind, we will put CCI Mini Mag in it. And what we always say is that if it doesn't run CCI Mini Mag, then, well, there's something wrong with the gun, because it's not going to be the ammunition. We find that CCI Mini Mag is incredibly consistent, incredibly reliable, and is great quality. It's not the cheapest 2.2 out there. I mean, I think it's like £90, £100, £1,000 now, so it is getting pretty expensive, and you can get stuff for closer half the price. But yeah, if you're just going to go down and do some plinking, and you're just going to have a little bit of fun, and you're sort of okay with dealing with some issues, then go for the cheap stuff. You're going to get sort of more bang for your buck. But if you're looking at serious competition, or you know, you want the consistency, then absolutely go for Mini Mag. Just in my opinion, it can't be beaten. CCI Standard is still pretty good. I know Alex Florence, who runs the PPQ for the NRA Handgun Leagues, he was using Mini Mag, switched to Standard, and then had absolutely no issues. So you save a bit of money on the Standard. It's a little less recoil, although really does that matter with a 2.2. What's the song called? So for those of you that were really early and really keen, there is the English Shooting intro song. So it's actually at the beginning of all the videos now, and I don't have any other words. It is just literally the theme tune in the background, I guess. But for the live streams where we have that 5-minute run-in, gives us a chance to make sure everything's set up and everything's working correctly during that 5 minutes. We play the full song. I think it actually plays through twice. And actually, I was going to say, I don't actually know the name, but because I am sat in front of my laptop, I will have a quick look for you. It isn't like a chart song, or it isn't really a pop song of any description. We use a service called Artlist.io, and what that does is, for a yearly fee, you're able to get access to fairly good quality music, and you have the rights to be able to use it in whatever means you see fit. So it gives you great flexibility, and also you're never going to get pinged by the YouTube algorithms that detect songs and then issue the rights basically to the song owner. So I'm just going to have a quick look. So the song is actually called No Matter How Hard We Try, and it's by Moon. So if you want to go and listen to it, if you go onto artlist.io and search for No Matter How Hard We Try, then you should be able to find it. I think actually because we have the rights to it, I could just put a video out of purely the song if you guys want to be able to download it and listen to it in your spare time. So let me know if you want that. Don't forget to clap for NHS and care staff. Absolutely. I really do feel for the guys. I admire the guys, and I'm so glad that for once they're getting the recognition that they deserve. This isn't, yes, it's a particularly bad time, and they're having a hard time of it, but knowing a number of paramedic and doctors and people that work within the emergency services and the NHS, they have a hard time all the time. It's particularly bad at the moment, but it's nice to sort of see the reception and recognition that people are giving them. So if you are in the emergency services at the moment, I certainly work for the NHS, a big thank you from me and the whole team here. I can say that definitely on behalf of everyone. You're doing an astounding job, and obviously without you guys we would seriously be stuffed. But also, it's not just the NHS, like even the people at the supermarkets, they're having a really bad time of it at the moment. And you see the amount of posts of abuse. It's not the people working there's fault. If there's nothing on the shelves, I've been into a couple of supermarkets since this all began, and they literally can't put the stuff out fast enough. And to give them abuse, like, how pathetic is that? It's not their fault. Getting angry at them is not going to make anything better. So let's have a quick look through the comments. Again, keep them coming, guys. I will try and stay on top of it as much as I can. Paulio, maybe one of my favorite channels. Thank you very much appreciated. Good to hear that a lot of you are saying the audio seems to be good, which is always my biggest worry. Again, any issues through the stream, please let me know, and I will try to fix it if we can. So one from Connor, and I did see as well, Magload. So Connor's, whilst he can't be here in person, he is there in text, so he's watching the stream. If you have any questions for him, or if I can't answer any of the questions that you have, then hopefully Connor's will be as well. So hi Connor's, thanks for tuning in from home. I'm sure you've got your feet up lovely and comfy on the sofa. So someone said check the focus. Unfortunately, I'm using the webcam, so I'm sort of stuck with what it is. It might just be the outright quality. I maybe should get a backup webcam for these situations, but it is just so easy to set up from the computer. Everything's right in front of me, and I'd rather do it with maybe a little sacrifice in quality than not do it at all. So I did see somebody had asked, Connor, we know how long variation's going to take. So I guess that's a question of, do we know how long variations are going to take? So basically, I think on the last live stream that was on Facebook last week, there was already a number of constabularies that were already saying that they were going to stop non-essential work, and I don't see variations as being essential, if I'm honest. What I've seen is that they're going to be prioritising, and in some cases only doing renewals. So they're not going to be doing initial applications, new applications, and I don't think they're going to be doing variations. It is purely doing the renewals, which is obviously vital, because if you have an FAC or an SGC and it sort of times out, then you're going to be left there with a load of guns that technically you are in possession of illegally. So they want to be able to keep everyone running smoothly, and let's not forgetting that there are a number of jobs and professions that depend on shooting, and I wanted to touch on that a little bit as well. Obviously, going down to a clay ground at the moment is just not appropriate. It's not needed. It's not necessary. I know many of us are already getting cabin fever, especially with the weather getting so good as it has been in the last couple of weeks, but it's not essential. You go down to a clay ground, you're going to be touching loads of stuff that many other people have touched, be it the launch button, the cards, going around, and I know down in at Bisley at the NCSC that they've got the coins. Again, coins and currency are the worst for virus and germ spreading, so it's just not necessary. But obviously there are people that are required to do it in terms of crop protection. So if you're running a farm and you've got to protect livestock or crops, then of course you can go out there and do that as part of a job. I know that I've been reading the various organizations sort of statements and guidance on all of this, and they've basically said that if you are, you know, a professional, so a professional pest controller or a professional stalker, then really it's about the landowner and what they need you to do. If they need, you know, the pest controlling or any sort of animal species, whatever, controlling, then you're going to have to do it, because it's protecting food. We need to be growing and having as much food on the tables as we can at the moment. But yeah, leisure shooting, I mean, we haven't done any shooting the past couple of weeks. We're getting a bit of withdrawals, if you ask me. It's just not essential. And as I said, you know, it's a little bit hypocritical of me, because it isn't necessarily essential that I'm in the office at the moment. We are just trying to get everything in place that we can, and I think from this evening we're probably going to be doing a lot more at home and a lot more remotely, apart from having to come in for short periods to fulfill orders, obviously for Magload. So in terms of an update for the channel, we're going to be going back to old school. We're going to be back at home in the garden, doing videos. I will be doing a video over the next week which will be shooting at home. So, you know, what you can do, the laws around shooting at home, what is acceptable to shoot at home, what measures you should take place. So keep an eye out on the channel for that. If there's anything particular you want me to cover during that video, you know, be that, you know, air gun, airsoft, whatever, Nerf guns, then let me know, and I'll try and get it in, and I'll try and cover whatever you need. So David asked, why no cat? Well, because she wanted to go outside. You know, she I can't restrain her against her will, can I? Let's go. Very British. Should we start a petition to bring back 2.2 pistols? Probably, with what's going on at the moment, the least of our worries, if I'm going to be completely honest. And I've said it many times before, I've seen loads of pistol petitions. There was one that reached, must have been 20 or 30,000 a few years ago, but unfortunately what ends up happening is that you get 2 or 3 or 4 different petitions, and they all get diluted, and people think they're the same ones when the previous ones have closed. What it will take is all of the organizations getting together and orchestrating a combined effort for a petition like that. If it's just you or I, the shooting industry can be so disjointed sometimes without all of the organizations coming together. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to achieve much, and certainly during the next few months I don't think we should be worrying about 2.2 pistols, although it would be very, very nice to have them back at some point. So let's again, I'm trying to keep up with everything, but keep your questions and your comments coming in, keep the conversation going. So let's see where we are at. Loads of people, you know, wishing well. Thank you very much. Again, likewise, I hope everyone's keeping the same. So Jason Williamson, 51, looking at getting firearm certificate. What's the process to get one? So I mean, there is a video on or there's a number of videos on the channel if you type in getting an FAC or filling out an FAC, where I actually take you through the full process of filling in your FAC application form. And again, another video that I'm planning on doing well, whilst I'm in isolation, is actually filling out my actual FAC application, because as many of you will know, you know, I don't have an FAC at the moment, and I have it agreed with Hampshire Constabulary that I will be reapplying in May. May is coming up pretty soon. I mean, it's been like nearly 4 years. It's gone incredibly slowly, but I'm a month away. So I'm a month away. I might as well get everything sorted that I can. So I will be filling out the application, and I will be showing you exactly how I'm doing it. And it should be a fairly interesting video, because the application I do won't exactly be a standard one, because I'm going to have to declare that I've had FAC and a SGC revoked in the past, and I did also recently get caught speeding, so I'm going to have to obviously declare that. But these are things that I'll cover on the form, what you say, and how you address those sorts of things. But in terms of your question, Jason, what's the process of getting one? So for an FAC, you need good reason, and there are sort of two good reasons, which is one is sort of pest control and hunting, or there is sport shooting. Now, for pest control and hunting, the general process, I believe, is using a mentor. So what you need to do is find somebody that is already has an FAC, and that they go out shooting and hunting or stalking, and that they will take you under their wing and show you the ropes, and then at the end of a period which they deem to be long enough, they can then vouch for you to the police and say, look, he knows the lay of the land now, he's proficient, he's not dangerous, so, you know, please issue him an FAC. Through the sport shooting route, you need to be a full member of a Home Office approved club. So most clubs will have probational periods of either 3 or 6 months. That's usually the average. Some even do a year, but 3 to 6 month probational period is usually the average. You will have to attend the range a minimum number of times before you can then become a full member. Once you're a full member, basically that's them saying, look, we trust this guy, he's a full member, and then they will support your FAC. Then you obviously download the application form, send it in to them, and then you'll have your interview and hopefully have your FAC issued afterwards. But again, I'm always up for helping people with these sorts of questions and certainly getting into the sport. So if you do have the questions, these sorts of questions, feel free to drop an email, drop a message. I can take a little bit of time sometimes to get back to you, but I will try and get back to everyone as fast as I can. So again, keep them coming, guys. So Cameron, heard anything about the new Southern Gun Company 9mm? So I believe, I guess you're talking about the underlever. So with the ban of the lever release, which of course was sort of pioneered by Southern Gun Company, and of course the Mars VZ58 action rifle, then with the ban of those, Southern Gun Company thought, okay, well, we can't have a lever release, what can we do? So they've actually gone for like a cowboy action 9mm AR. It's certainly a little bit different, to say the least. I first saw one, I think it was last year at the Phoenix Fair, so there's been a bit of noise about it for a while. Unfortunately, I haven't seen any more of it. I certainly haven't seen any in the flesh since. It's certainly an interesting concept. I did hear some rumours that the guy that runs Southern Gun Company was sort of testing the water, not in terms of a marketing point of view or a selling point of view, but in terms of the police. The last thing we want to do is get them looking at further restrictions and further bans. So I think he was sort of putting it out there, sort of seeing what response he got from the police and the Home Office, and then maybe moving forward if they were okay with it. Because you know what will happen, they see an underlever and an AR, they get all scared, and then suddenly all underlevers are banned. So we certainly don't want that. So unfortunately, I can't give any more information, but drop them an email. I mean, they do have a website. Go onto the website and drop them an email. I'm sure they'll get back to you. And if it's available and you want to buy one, I'm sure they will happily sell you one. So Philip, both of my clubs are shut at the moment. Yeah, I mean, huge disruption. At the moment, everything's shut down. We've been doing a bit of work with the South Down Gun Club and Shooting School, and they've had to completely shut down. And I think they actually closed about a week before all the mandatory shutdowns came in. Again, it's anything that isn't essential, unfortunately, and going to a range and putting holes in bits of paper or breaking clays or knocking down steel isn't sort of essential to our survival at the moment. And unfortunately, we are in a survival situation, so clubs are going to have to shut. It wouldn't be wise to continue running in this sort of climate, in this sort of scenario. So we've got Rob. Does EnglishShooting have a Discord service? Unfortunately, whilst I may have a degree in electronic engineering, I'm not too IT savvy. I know obviously I think gamers use those, and sort of full-time streamers use Discord servers. I mean, if it's going to help the channel, drop me a message or an email, because I obviously need to learn a bit more. I'll do a bit of Googling after the stream and have a look into that. But no, I don't think so. I might do. I use to stream. Basically, I go on to YouTube. You hit go live. You've got to use a streaming software, which is, I believe it's called OBS, which is a highly recommended one. So I just sort of do everything that tells me to, and like magic, I appear on screen. Alex is a lot more proficient with the software and a lot more proficient with the streaming. That's why he runs them behind the camera for most of the weeks. But as I said, I'm here on my own, keeping my social distance, and trying to isolate where I can. Blaser. So we were talking about 2.2. David Kiddle seems to be a big supporter and fan of Blaser. I've used Blaser before. I think we even have some in the Bluefield Sports gun room. So yeah, it's not bad stuff. I would still go for CCI Mini Mag. I don't know if that's just being a brand snob. I mean, what really sort of drove it home to me recently was the Glock 44. And before anyone asks, no, I don't know if the Glock 44 is coming to the UK. That seems to be like the most popular question at the moment. I hope someone does. It would be pretty cool, but of course we do already have the offering of a Glock in the UK. Oh, okay, sorry, it's not a Glock, it's the CIP-22 from Caliber Innovations, and you know that gun runs well, so you know there is a Glock offering if somebody wants to buy one. And also, talking about the Glock 44, it's not really a true Glock, whereas like with the CIP-22, it's using like a genuine Glock frame from a Glock 19, I believe, or 17. David, you might be able to correct me on that one. I always forget the two. And it's using a metal slide, whereas the 44 is it's a jewel. It's got metal inserts into polymer, which is actually what is causing a lot of the issues and a lot of the failures. But yeah, looking at all of the reviews of the Glock 44, pretty much if people didn't put mini mag into it, it didn't run, or it certainly didn't run as well. And for me, that's the marker. You know, every gun seems to just run well with mini mag. And I can't remember if if I've told this story before on the channel, but when I first started shooting with the Imperial College Rifle and Pistol Club, my university club, they had endless issues with, they had a Colt M4 clone from Numerex, and they had the Ruger 1022s, which are usually incredibly reliable gun, and they just could not get them to run. They cleaned them, they oiled them to hell, and then when I first got my FAC, went straight out and bought a 1522 and took that to the club, and I was shooting mini mag through it, and I was like, well, why don't you use this stuff? I don't seem to have any issues with this stuff. They put it through these guns, and suddenly guns that just had endless issues ran flawlessly. I mean, they were using a Remington Golding bullet and I think Thunderbolt through it, so that probably wasn't exactly the best example. But in every situation that a gun has had an issue with ammunition, you put CCI into it, it seems to run well. So Jason William, double pay for all workers in shop. So yeah, I've heard a lot of this, with obviously exposed risk to people out there and sort of less than ideal conditions at the moment. People are getting a little bit of extra pay, which is good. Again, it still doesn't help the self-employed among us, but the government, I think, have overall done a really good job of what they've put on the table in what is relatively a very short space of time when it comes to government. Usually it does take years for stuff to get through, and they've rushed it through. Unfortunately, there are a few cracks in it, which people like myself and Connors have seemingly fallen through. But I'm not going to sit here and just because I'm affected. We are a very small minority. It would be nice to still be taken care of, but for the outright majority of you guys, there should be no reason to worry financially with all of the schemes that they've put in place. And certainly, if you're earning double time in the shop, then you're probably actually quite thankful for what's going on at the moment. Let's have a look again, guys. Please keep the comments and questions coming through. I do have to keep a little bit of a pause every now and then just to read through them, and just try and get through everything. Magload, aka Connors, how do you get your beard so lopsided? I don't know, it was the barber that did it. Like, I mean, he's a professional. Maybe it's just the angle. Maybe I'm at a weird angle. I mean, if you want to talk into grooming of beards, you might have a pucker beard, It's not the best groomed, is it now, my friend? I saw that Neil from Rack and Load, hi Neil, how's it going, has joined in. So of course, if you don't know Neil, you've never heard of Rack and Load, go to his channel now, subscribe, absolutely. If you like my videos, you're certainly going to like his videos as well. Maybe, given what's going on at the moment, I was actually thinking about this the other night, Neil, maybe we should do another three-way, just like the good old days. So again, for long fans and long viewers of the channel, you may remember that Sam from SRS Power, Neil obviously from Rack and Load, and myself used to do sort of three-way streams, hosting it on each other's channels. So maybe we should do that, actually. That would be pretty cool. Again, making the best of a bad situation. That would be, you know, get the three amigos together on the stream. What do you think, Neil? Although we're not going to allow you to host it because you're a technophobe. As much as I'm not very proficient with the streaming software, you have made some faux pas in the past, haven't you? So again, just catching up on everything you guys have been saying. You're a talkative bunch today, aren't you? So Paulo, what's going to happen with the hunting season? And do you think that it's okay for a bit of fishing? I mean, well, personally, like, no, in a way, but the guidance has been absolutely, you know, do not go outside if it's not if it's not necessary. You go and do your daily exercise outside, and they've been very, very strict with this in the past few days and clarified. Going for your daily exercise is not driving to, you know, 90 miles to some national park and doing a 3-hour walk across it. It's go out and go for a walk the dogs, go for a jog, literally walk outside your house, go for a run and come back. I can't really count fishing as exercise. I mean, do you count fishing as a sport? I think there is competitive fishing, but no, I mean, we don't know yet. Certainly in the UK, we can see things in Spain and Italy and how bad it's got there, but I don't think have a full understanding of how bad this is going to get. And I just think going out and doing absolutely doing something that it really isn't essential, like fishing, I guess, unless you're doing it because you don't have any food options, like literally if there's nothing in your cupboards and you're having to go out and forage for food, then maybe that would be excusable, but I would avoid against it. You know, with the weather being like it has here in the UK the past few days, it's been incredibly tempting to go out to the range, to even set up a clay trap and go and shoot some clays or go pigeon shooting. It's just not worth it. Again, we don't want to be part of the issue. This thing is incredibly serious. So if you don't need to go outside, then don't. I think I think the government has been perfectly clear on that. I know things are a little bit different in America and certainly a bit different across the world. So, you know, you might want to, you know, check what your local laws are saying. I mean, you know, if you're in a country that's saying that fishing is fine and going out and doing sort of isolated activities is fine, then, you know, go do it. You know, don't. But I just wouldn't take the risk. The scariest thing about COVID-19 is this 2-week delay. You know, you could all, like everyone watching it now, not to make the paranoid amongst you get even more paranoid, but you could already have it. And, you know, it's then, I saw a brilliant depiction today of, you know, it's not about you not catching it, it's about treating it that you're already infected. Because of this 2-week delay, you already could, and then you're out there spreading it. So just assume that you've already got it. I think that's the best thing. Everyone assume that you've got it, and you do not want to be going outside and infecting other people. You do not want to be responsible for giving it to somebody with an underlying medical health condition and killing them. You know, that could be down to you. That could be you that has made that decision to go out and do something that isn't necessary, give it to somebody else, and they could die from it. That's what we're talking about here. And I think obviously that, you know, again, this sounds a bit harsh, a bit out there, but it is the reality of the situation. is what you're going out and doing worth dying for? If it's yes, you know, like going out and getting food, which is a necessity, but, you know, look at getting it delivered. But anyway, let's try and keep it onto shooting. Again, you know, I know we can't avoid the topic of COVID-19, but let's try and keep it to shooting as much as possible. But yeah, sorry, I did see someone asked a question. Can't remember if I did cover it, but in terms of hunting, how is it going to affect the hunting season? Absolutely. I mean, again, unless you're having to go out there and shoot for a purpose like crop protection or livestock protection, or you are really that desperate for food, then don't do it. So yeah, it's going to have a huge impact on the hunting season. Yeah, David Kiddle, love Channel 5 putting out the Marky Mark Contagion film, quality timing. Well, if you want to talk about quality timing, look at Netflix. For the last month, all I've been getting is the Pandemic series, which I have actually started watching, you know, be prepared and all that. But yeah, they had that series, and what's crazy, oh, Nala's back, come on then. She just, you know, don't mind her. She comes and goes as she pleases. But yeah, it was like weeks before this really blew up, this Pandemic series, which had obviously been filmed over a number of months or years even. It was scary. Like if you haven't seen, if you've got Netflix and you haven't seen the Pandemic series yet, go and watch it, because it is just, it's scary. Like, it's scary how accurate and to the mark that everyone has been in that series. And they that's what everyone was saying about clapping the NHS. Okay, bit delayed, I'm a bit behind, guys, sorry about that. I just had a message going, did I do my clap? And I didn't. But to the NHS and all of our emergency services, absolutely. Where was I? Oh yeah, Pandemic. You really want to get your tinfoil hats on, go and watch that on Netflix. Lee, wasn't meant to start my 3-month probation next month at a local gun club. Okay, so you were meant to start it, and now you can't. Again, you know, at the end of the day, there are far bigger things at play here. I know it's frustrating, you know, obviously working full time in the firearms industry and the shooting industry, not being able to go out and do it. You know, that's why I gave up my job and do this full time, is because of how much I love shooting, and to not actually be able to go out and do it is a bit heartbreaking. But again, bigger things at play here. There's bigger consequences for us just not being able to go out and shoot for a few months. But as I said, I will be doing at least one video, maybe a series of videos on things you can do at home in terms of shooting out in the garden, maybe even shooting indoors as well. There are ways you can do it, maybe not live fire, but certain guns you can use. I know Kiddle's going to be saying no no airsoft, but during times like this, needs must, right? Michael, I'm just applying for my partner's FAC. Do we need our own safes? She currently shoots my 308 at Bisley and has an NRA certified shooter card, safe shooter card or whatever. So it depends. If by any chance, if Ben or Emma Ducker, who have been on the channel before, certainly they've been on the live streams before, they will know, because they're a couple that shoots, they both have their independent FACs. I believe the way that it works with having a husband and wife having their own FACs is if you have the same guns on the FAC, then you can. So if you have this 308 rifle and it's signed onto your rifle and it's signed onto her rifle, and every firearm that you own are on both FAC or both certificates, then you can both have access to the safe. But obviously, let's just say you have a 338 Lapua and your partner doesn't. Well, she can't have access to that 338 Lapua because she doesn't have the slot for it. She doesn't have the authority to possess it. So as long as you have the same guns or every gun on both certificates, there's no issue in sharing the same safe, I believe. Obviously, always check with your FEO. but I believe that's the state of play. Worst case, you're going to have to go out and get a safe, but that probably means more room for more guns. So not a completely dark cloud, let's just say. Steve, stay safe, peeps. We, as always, should be always be supporting you guys. Still new with my shotgun rigs, very soon. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're still operational. We're still trying to do as much as we can. So if you need anything from Magload, please drop us a message. We'll be able to try and hook you up. Again, remember guys, there is a delay from sort of me talking and you commenting, but keep them coming in. I'm working through them, just making sure everyone's questions are getting answered. Hi Callum, I know you guys are all about practical shooting, but are there any plans for you guys to do some long range target shooting? Yes. I mean, we're not all about practical. I mean, we're mostly about practical because that's the discipline that we enjoy and sort of do the most. But I mean, Connor's started in 3-position rifle, as I'm sure he said before. So you know, and I started with clay pigeon shooting. I technically started with 2.2 target rifle, but it was really clay pigeon shooting that I first threw myself into. We'd absolutely love to be doing more long range shooting. Of course, we're you know, quite busy trying to put out content and run the companies. So you know, if we do have up to 300 yards here on the estate, so we can do up to 300 yards. I know that's not long range at all, but we do have that 338 in the gun room that still needs shooting, and at some point we're going to go to a long ass range, maybe, you know, at least 1,000 meters. It would be nice to, you know, be able to go out to 1,500, 2,000 as well. So yeah, we will be doing long range shooting at some point, but obviously, you know, we use the range. We've got a practical bay at the range, so we just tend to do a lot more practical stuff. And of course, it's what Connors and myself, you know, really do love more than any other discipline. But we, as I always say, anything with a trigger, I'll pull it. I'm not going to discriminate. I mean, maybe some of the people behind the trigger or behind the gun, occasionally I might disagree with, but it's not yeah, any gun, I'll shoot it. So how were ammunition sales pre-quarantine? Here in the US, ammo has been flying off the shelves like crazy. I mean, yeah, I've been watching the videos out in American gun shops. I mean, I know obviously you still have a background check, so you can't just walk into a shop and walk out with one. There's stuff to do, and obviously in some states you have waiting periods or cooling off periods, but you can still go in and give somebody your money and they'll put the gun aside for you. In the UK, with the way that our FACs work, we have a limit for ammunition, so it does stop the or slow the stem of panic buying, because you can't just go up and stock unlimited amounts of ammunition. You need to still stay within your limits. And it was actually a topic that I did want to touch on shortly tonight, so thanks for a nice segue into that. I don't think there will be an ammunition shortage in the UK at all. I did see that the managing director of Ely Ammunition, that's the 2.2 ammunition manufacturer, not the Ely Hawk, the shotgun ammunition manufacturers. So Mark Derbyshire, the MD, said that he was already seeing the shortage. And I mean, he's going to know pretty much better than anybody else in the UK. Ely are the 2.2 manufacturers, I think maybe even the only 2.2 rimfire manufacturer in the UK. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. It'd be interesting to know, actually. But yeah, they're certainly the biggest, and they were already seeing it. But because we have our licenses and our limits, we can't go out and panic buy as much as you can in America. And also with the shutdown, with the lockdown, pretty much every gun shop is shut. I don't know of a gun shop, certainly in the local area, that is open still. Again, you know, Alex at Bluefield Sports, if you're really desperate for something, then please get in contact with him. He will try and sort you out, but he's certainly not as open as he ordinarily would be. So of course that's going to stop ammo sales. It's incredibly difficult and expensive to ship ammunition around the UK, so you can't, mail order it, that I believe you can do in the States. Again, I know some states do vary. So it's not like I could sit here right now if I had an FAC and go, right, I want 2,000 rounds of 2.2 delivered to my door. You do still have to go to a gun shop and buy it. And with them being shut, I don't know if Ely are still manufacturing. I probably would suspect that they are, because I know that manufacturers do get a little bit of discompensate, or a little bit of leeway in terms of the lockdown. So if Ely are still pumping out ammunition, I'm sure CCI are still pumping out ammunition, then the ammunition is still coming in, it's still being made, and with gun shops being shut down, well, people aren't going to be able to buy it. So we probably will end up with like a surplus at some point. I don't know, it'd be interesting to see. But obviously, selfishly, being attached to a gun room, if we were going out and shooting, there's loads of ammunition at Bluefield Sports, so we're sort of good at the moment. Again, if you are desperate for ammunition, please get in contact with Alex, and he'll try and sort you out. Connor's from Magload. Wow, what a way to snub the anglers. It wasn't meant to be a snub. I'm just asking if fishing's a sport. Like, do people class it as a sport? I don't know. It's just leave me alone, Connors. Even remotely, you try and dig on me. That's well, that's just how you do it. And of course, I haven't cracked it out yet, but I am sporting the Corona for tonight. Can't have too much, because then I'll start saying silly things, and we do not want that. Again, keep your comments coming. Why did that get flagged? I just saw Hampshire today. Still need you to check out my virtual shooting range, Callum. Unfortunately, I've sort of it does slip me where we've spoken before, but I'm always looking for change, trying new ranges. It'd be good to see if you're open at the moment. Again, like virtual reality and sort of the laser systems that we've seen, that would be really awesome at the moment to sort of keep your keep your skills hot, and to stay sharp on the shooting. Obviously the systems aren't particularly cheap, but if you do have a spare few £1,000, oh, Nala's on the move again. Where is she going? You want to come and say hello? You want some attention? Come on in. There we go, Nala the office cat. But yeah, laser systems would be good. Are you just going to... No, she's doing her own thing. Very, very independent cat, that one. Yeah, please drop me an email or a message. Again, apologies if I've gone dark on you. I do tend to lose some emails occasionally. Yeah, it would be great to come and check something that's a little bit different, virtual shooting. I have seen the one, maybe it's you that runs it, but there's one I believe in London or Manchester, and it's like a pub. I do feel like I'm being stalked. Yeah, there she is behind. Yeah, there's like a pub / bar combined with, I think it's the same company that does the axe throwing as well. Yeah, I always wanted to visit one of those. Beer and guns, what's better than that? So Carl Volt, Norway is getting a change up in gun laws, going to get a bunch of hunting semi-auto banned, but sports shooters is getting a ton new semi-auto available for PCC and rifle. So funny enough, hopefully this still goes ahead. It is booked for the beginning of June, so fingers crossed. But there's an expat out in Denmark, and he got in contact with Gunroom TV, and they have the Danish Rifle Open. I think that's the name of this championship, this competition. It's quite a large annual competition, and the Danes have some real issues with gun laws similar to Norway. And I remember while we were out there, when we were in Sweden for the Rifle World Shoot, the IPSC Rifle World Shoot, there were a number of people from Norway and Denmark, and I didn't fully understand what they were saying, but it was like they can have semi-automatic rifles in AR variants for hunting, but they're not allowed to use it for sport shooting. But if they take it out of the country and they're in a country that does allow it for sport shooting, that they can technically, I guess, use it. It's very, very odd. But Denmark sort of has it. Oh, she off again. Will you make your mind up? So I know that Denmark, they know that, I believe they're not allowed any semi-automatic rifles at all. This is part of the reason we're going out there, because this competition is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And the way I understand it is that people from Denmark, they cannot actually shoot their own match. But people from other countries, it's perfectly lawful for them to come into Denmark with their semi-auto AR-15s. And no, you're not going to go out. Shut the window then. They can go into Denmark and shoot with their guns completely legally. So we're actually going out there to sort of promote this and show this and sort of show how silly it is, and to really show IPSC rifle shooting in the best light possible, so that people don't think it's necessarily just a tactical training excuse, or people wanting to be walk mitties or whatever. So we're going to go out there and show what IPSC rifle is about, and hopefully they might be able to get things to change. But yeah, I know in that region of the world, having talked to Pia Clerte, who I believe isn't very well at the moment. I think she has a really bad case of either coronavirus or something else. So hope you get better soon, Pia. But I was talking to her. She's Swedish and does a lot of sort of campaigning against the European Union, and talks a lot with politicians. And she was saying that they're sort of on a knife edge constantly with what's going to get lost. I think in Sweden there was a rule change which meant that every range had to be assessed, which meant that even hunters couldn't go out and sight in their rifle, because you have to get a range approved every time, and it's really, really messy out there. But with people like Pia, and hopefully with the likes of Gunroom TV promoting the sport in the best way possible, we can stem that or even change things. So hopefully we can stem anything and continue growing the sport. Again, guys, please keep the questions and comments flowing. Any conversation pieces you want to talk about, any topics you want to talk about. I think David just clarifying, family can have the same FAC even if not living in the same house. Guns, ammo, and are the same. I don't think it necessarily comes down to family, actually. It's just if two people have the same FAC effectively, and the same guns on the FAC, then both of them can have access to the safe, because they're both lawfully, they can both lawfully have access to those guns and possess those guns independently. How do you, James? How do you create a bespoke AR-15 2.2 legally in the UK? Different upper barrel, lower. You can buy all of the pieces separately. It's purely down to the way that the FAC works, that we don't get the home builds that you see out in America. So people just having an upper on its own, and oh look, I went and bought a buffer tube, and look, here's the trigger. For everything that isn't pressure bearing, so as long as it's not the lower, the upper, the bolt, or the barrel, I believe that's right. Everything else you can go out and buy without a license, and have even shipped to your door without a license. But anything that's pressure bearing, then that needs to go on an FAC. And for every pressure bearing part, you need a slot for. So you would technically, if it is the bolt, the upper, the lower, and the barrel, you would technically need 4 different slots on your FAC before you put the gun together, to buy them sort of separately. So the best way to do it is to go to a company that specializes in building ARs. I know David from Caliber Innovations build custom ARs to pretty much whatever spec you want. They will get the parts in. I know that Dan Smerald, Mr. Crap Magnet himself, is also building, I think it's an Aero Precision. Try saying that after a few beers. So he's had his Aero Precision build. There's the upper and lower in the gun shop. Obviously an RFD can possess the component parts without having to have the individual licenses. So Caliber Innovations will build you a gun, Southern Gun Company will build you a gun, Northwest Custom Parts will build you a gun. I know Cotswold Classic Arms will build you a gun as well. And you know, a little birdie tells me that Connors from Magload will be doing a few bits for them in the coming months, but I won't give too much away. But yeah, it is very difficult, and it is a shame because ARs are like adult Lego, aren't they? It would be great to be able to build one. When maybe I become a servant of the RFD here, I would be able to do it, because again, all the component parts can be bought separately. So maybe I can do that as a bit of, you know, what's the process in terms of being an RFD of doing it and buying all the parts. But yeah, get in contact with Caliber, even Bluefield Sports, Northwest Custom Parts. There's a whole host of gun builders across the country. I know certainly that Northwest Custom Parts, you know, Wayne will get anything in you want and will build the rifle to your exact specifications. So definitely definitely worth checking with them. And I know again with Caliber's new Cerakoting service, they can build you a gun that looks exactly how you want it. So yeah, a little bit difficult here. We have heard also rumours of a change of the licensing, which means that every pressure bearing part of like an AR build will have to be on a separate slot anyway of an FAC. So if you're going to be doing that to start with, then people will start building more of them over a prolonged period. But yeah, it would be nice to. So Manku Man, how different is the LBP UK PSA course compared to the long gun course? So some of you might be coming over from the video that was released tonight. If you haven't seen it and you're interested in learning a bit more about practical shooting or taking the first steps into practical shooting, go and check out the UK PSA safety course video that was out tonight. And that was a long gun course. So in IPSC, they don't, whilst you have obviously different disciplines, you, with safety courses and competition licenses, you either have a long gun or a short gun. And just a little bit of a overview of how the system works is that the matches and competitions within IPSC are graded from level 1 being the lowest to level 5 the highest, which is a world shoot. And to shoot anything level 2 and above, Connors, correct me if I'm wrong at any point, which is more than likely, but anything higher than a level 1, so level 2 upwards, you need a safety certificate and competition license to be able to do. So the UK PSA run these these safety courses, and it's basically to make sure that you are at a certain minimum level and have a certain minimum grasp of the laws and safety precautions put in place and procedures, so that you are going to be safe to go out and compete. And also, when you do a safety course, you can complete it at 2 levels, either at a safety course level, which I don't think actually gets you anything, or the aim is to compete it at a competition level, a competition license level, which then allows you to go and shoot the level 3s here in the UK, or the level 4s or level 5s internationally. So back to your question, is there any difference? Not a huge amount of difference. I mean, obviously with pistols, there's more about drawing it in and out of the holster. You spend a bit of time doing that. But I did actually do an LBP course. So any of you that don't have FACs, of course, in the UK, you cannot shoot a long-barreled pistol without holding an FAC and that gun being on the FAC. But the UK PSA actually do action air safety courses, and that's what I did. I think actually behind me there, where's the screen? Yeah, so there, folded over, that's actually the certificate. I'll go get it. Why am I pointing it? I'll just grab it for you. So this is what you are. Whoop, try and not fall over there. So this is actually my old shotgun safety certificate. I probably should find the newest one. Luckily, I happen to work with the instructor that gave it to me, so if I have lost it, Connors, please help. But that's what you're given. So that's what you get at the end of the course. I think they have changed them. They're a little more fancy now. But yeah, obviously you've got where it was, you know, the instructor and all that, your name obviously. But yeah, as I was saying, this was actually the Action Air. So that I did the Action Air course, and then was basically signed off for Action Air shooting within the UK or internationally at a competition license. And the Action Air safety courses are brilliant because you don't need an FAC to do it. Anyone can do it. You don't even need to be a member of a club, just a member of the UK PSA. Well, you don't even need to be a member of the UK PSA. You can go and just do it if you want just a little taster. And then what I ended up doing is upgrading it to a full bore competition license out in NHTSA. So again, this is why the UK PSA have been, you know, plugging NHTSA so much. It's not just a case of people just going out and shooting handguns. It's a gateway for people in the UK to get the competition license for full bore handgun, which is required to go out internationally and shoot full bore handgun. And you know, that's the avenue that I've done. That's the avenue that Connors has done, and many people are doing to be able to enter the IPSC International Handgun Circuit. So in terms of the differences between the long gun and the short gun, it's just the difference in the gun. So you know, doing the holster, you still do very similar activities and very similar sort of tasks, but it is very similar apart from the gun that you're actually using. But I've never done a long barreled pistol course. I assume again it's very similar to either the full bore or the Action Air courses that they do. So I do need to stay hydrated. Sponsored obviously always by Pepsi Max. So, David Kiddle, what's your thought on English ammo such as Ely in 2.2 being almost half price in the US? Well, it's a bit shit, isn't it? Really? I mean, especially Ely. Is that true? I'd like to do some research on that and find out. I mean, that's a bit odd if you ask me, because it obviously costs them more to get it out there. So why is it more expensive out there? So maybe I'll raise that with Mark next time I see him. But like everything's more expensive here when it comes to guns. You know, if you want to get upset about it or annoyed about it, you'd be annoyed for quite a long time. You know, like the Smith & Wesson 1522 out in America, you can pick them up for $250. They're £600 here. Like, how can that be justified? You know, I did actually have somebody saying about the CIP 22 and saying, oh, you know, it's too expensive, it's 1,500 quid. Well, yeah, only 10 have been made, I believe, so far. So when you do anything in tens, it's always very expensive per gun. But also bringing anything firearm related into the UK is extortionately expensive. So yeah, I can understand why CCI like Minimag, CCI ammunition, or Remington ammunition would be half the price out in the States because they're not having to ship it over here and pay all the import duties and taxes and licensing and all that. But why Ely ammunition is double the price out there? Again, it'd be interesting to look into that. So again, keep your comments coming in and your questions coming in. Steve saying 1,200 yards in Cambridge, just saying, if that's an invite, Steve, you count us in. As soon as this has blown over, it would be great to come up and shoot the 338 at 1,200 yards. Support from Missouri, USA. So this is Gabriel. What are the UK ammo limits? Are more people getting their FACs there, or can't you tell due to the background checks delaying the statistics? So in terms of you saying are more people getting their FACs, do you mean in amongst everything that's going on? Because it's just been completely shut down. I mean, overall FAC numbers and the numbers of shooters out there is increasing year on year, which is fantastic to see. We need to keep that momentum going. So yeah, numbers are up. I don't know if we've had a surge in FAC applications in the wake of everything that's going on, but I would love to be a fly on the wall for that interview. Somebody that perhaps doesn't know anything about shooting and just gone, yeah, I need a gun because of, you know, coronavirus. Yeah, instant black mark against that. So and then you asked about what are the UK ammunition limits. So it depends person to person. I mean, a gun shop, an RFD, is not limited in any way apart from the sort of volume of explosives that they're allowed to have on site. So you know, that's the only limiting in terms of health and safety for an RFD. But for an FAC holder, it really does vary. I mean, you can, you know, I know people that had 10 or 20,000 rounds of 2.2 on their own certificate, and I know people that struggled to get 1,000. You know, there's people that were limited to 500 rounds of 2.2 on their FACs, and they had 3 semi-automatic 2.2 rifles, and they're going, yeah, 500 rounds I can do in about 30 minutes quite easily. So, you know, maybe I need a little bit more than that, but it really depends on your justification to the FEO, you know, what you need the ammunition for. I mean, I think when I first started, my limit was 1,200, so I could go and buy it in 1,000, which was nice, but obviously if I had like 700 in the safe, I couldn't go and buy 1,000, and I was getting through a lot of ammunition with all the shooting and training I was doing. So I basically said to my FAO, like, look, on my variation I was applying for, I think it was a total of 3 or 4 2.2 rifles, and I said, you know, I've already got the 2.2 LBP, I've got the 2.2 Smith, I had a 2.2 bolt action Seiko quad, and I was like, I shoot a lot of 2.2, so, you know, and I upped it to 3,000. Anywhere between 1,000 to 3,000 for 2.2, people, you know, that's the standard. I mean, for larger calibers, I mean, 200 or 300 centerfire rounds that's sort of the standard that I've seen. Slug, they can be quite funny. They tried to limit me to 50 rounds. I was able to put that up to 100 by sort of saying, look, I'm doing practical shooting here, I'm easily going to go through 50 slugs on a training session. So, you know, it's always a negotiation with the FEO. They don't want to feel like you're taking the piss and just going, oh, I'm gonna ask for this because I just want it. They want you to be able to justify, you know, for an FAC you need good reason for everything that you do and everything that you want to have. So, you know, as long as you can give them that good reason, they might give a little bit of pushback, but if you can justify what you're asking for, you can usually get, you know, if you do have a good reason for it, you can usually get it. But yeah, I mean, I know single shot bolt action 2.2 shooters that have 10,000 round limits because they go and batch test. You know, again, they don't want to be continuously batch testing. They want to know what works in their gun, how it's shooting, and then go and buy as much of the ammunition as they can. So Aaron, I just saw, again, every now and then it does a ping, like I'm scrolling through it, it just zips, so I have to like scroll back and have a look. But I just see, oh, there we go. So Aaron, do you guys do home loads? And if so, is it something that Connors could do a video on? Well, Connors immediately answered that unfortunately you can't put any home loading or ammunition. Oh my god. You do know I'm on, right?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I do, that's why I'm here.
Yeah, but you never like to show your face.
I know.
That was the international man of mystery, Alex. For any of you that haven't seen his face, which is probably unlikely, it's very rare, so get a screenshot while it's there. But yeah, we can't show any home loading or any ammunition manufacturing on YouTube. It just doesn't. It will just kick you off. I mean, I think it was Demolition Ranch. They got a load of video. He got a load of videos pulled because it was showing making ammunition. It just doesn't like it anymore, unfortunately. But we could host those videos on Gunroom TV. So you know, that's why Gunroom TV was created, was to you know, protect the shooting industry in the UK from YouTube and losing videos. So if that's something that you know, you guys are interested in, well, obviously you guys always ask all the time to do it, so we should probably just get round and do it and upload it onto Gunroom TV for you guys. Lee Knights, 1522, good for a first gun. Absolutely. I literally couldn't recommend a better first gun. You know, in first gun in terms of you've never been shooting, well, it's a 2.2 and it's an AR. They're fairly intuitive and easy to get to grips with and maintain. And then also being an AR, you can upgrade it. So, you know, I remember when I first got my 1522 and I was over the moon. Like, I literally like, oh my God, this is so amazing. And then when you compare it to how it is now with all of the upgrades and additions, it's nothing like that. So you'll have that initial excitement of getting your first gun, as did I. It was my first rifle that I'd ever bought. And then, you know, as you progress, as you get better, maybe as you get bored with the current configuration, you upgrade it, you put new bits on it. And I'm always constantly switching and chopping and changing bits on the 1522 because, you know, it's so easy to do so, and it keeps me occupied. And my 1522, and it's still in the gun room. You know, it hasn't been lost, it hasn't been sold, it hasn't been given away. So again, guys, just you know, as I keep saying, keep the questions and the comments coming. And again, if you're commenting and you're asking questions, please take the time to hit the like button, share the video to people, the live stream to people. It really does help the YouTube analytics. You know, they like to push down on gun channels, so the more likes that the videos get, the more people it will reach, and the more people that will be introduced to our sport. And that's what we're all about, really. Hampshire today, you have your own range at home. I don't want to send a link on here, and we're not expensive. Let me know how to get the website to you. I'm only down the road in Hedge End. Okay, yeah, really, you're probably only about, what, 10 minutes away from where I am right now. So drop me an email. So if you go onto the English Shooting Facebook page, you can drop a message through there, or you can drop an email to englishshooting@gmail.com. So just again, englishshooting@gmail.com. Yeah, if you don't want to share any links, you don't have to, or contact me through the English Shooting Facebook page. We're getting touch, we'll sort something out when everything's blown over. You can come up here, set it up maybe, and yeah, be very interested to see that. So please do drop me an email or a message. Yes, Carl Volt. It's the Nordic Rifle Championship. Mark Weiss, that's who I've been speaking to. A great guy, extraordinarily passionate about shooting. That's why he wants us out there, because he wants to grow the sport and protect the sport. But yeah, Mark, he's the one orchestrating it all. I really hope everything's booked. We've got the tunnel booked. We've got our you know, the train. Eurotunnel, is it Eurostar or Eurotunnel, the one that you take the cars on? Anyway, we've got that booked, we've got accommodation booked, so everything's ready to go for that. It's just if we can do it on the 1st of June, but fingers crossed we can, because it sounds like he needs as much promotion as he can get, and you know, he's doing a fantastic job in what he's doing. So Carl Volt, I might RO that match, please don't forget. Oh, Carl, now I remember you. That's yeah, just every time just remind me about the monopod. So Carl, yeah, you were ROing the Swedish or the World Rifle Shoot, IPSC World Rifle Shoot in Sweden, and I left a tripod, a monopod, on his stage as I dashed off to get another stage filmed, and because everyone was using bipods with the Rifle World Shoot, people were eyeing it up. So again, a big thank you, Carl, for doing that, and protecting my monopod. But yeah, sorry, I do interact with a lot of people, so every now and then I might have a bit of a blank, but yeah, just remind me about the monopod in future, and I know exactly who you are. So hi, I rugby tackled my Serish before, and hell, it fell out of the wall and should be held. Don't get what you're saying there, Jack, unfortunately. Here in Finland, the EU have reduced AR magazines to 10 rounds and pistols to 20 rounds. However, for IPSC, you need an extra dangerous license to get. Okay, so at least there is still. I mean, it's still shit. Like, what are you gonna do with 30 rounds that you can't do with 10? You know, well, just not reload twice, right? But at least that they still have the provision for you to be able to get those magazines, which is something. They haven't completely banned them. Does anybody use Swiss Reload RS52 powder on a 308 reload? Is that any good? Michael, I can say right now, get in contact with Firing Solutions. Tim there, he's a sponsored, an ambassador or sponsored shooter for is it Swiss Reload, or is it known as Reload Swiss? but he is like an outright expert on the stuff. So if you need any help or guidance, get in contact with Firing Solutions, and I'm sure Tim will be more than happy to help you out and to point you in the right direction. Carl, have you looked at the rifle match Assassin's Way in the US? It has a $25,000 what? Really? That can't be right. It has a $25,000 entry fee, lasts almost 2 weeks and crosses 5 states. Seems ridiculous and intriguing. I'm there. If they give like free press entry, I'm there 100%. I guess it's like a gumball rally for shooting. How cool is that? I wasn't aware of it. I got a pen because I knew stuff like this would happen. So I'm just I'll make a note of that and I will check it off later. Because that sounds absolutely insane. Thinking Chris Upper light belt, yeah, can't go wrong with a Chris as a base gun. I know, again, someone that you want to talk to about building a custom Chris, talk to Mr. Crap Magnet himself, Daniel Smerald. He built a custom Chris, and I think he's even planning on doing further modifications for it as well. David Kiddle, Callum, were you ever asked to show a safety certificate to shoot any USA matches? No. Is that a trick question? I mean, David, if you're talking about the Kentucky matches, I mean, as you know, they're level 1. You don't need a safety certificate to do that. And I don't think I've shot a level. I might have shot effectively a level 1 USPSA match, which of course, again, you don't need a safety certificate or competition license for. But all the matches and shooting I've done out in the States is 3-gun. So, again, I always compare IPSC with 3-gun, because IPSC, it's lots of rules. It's got to be done in a particular way, which has its benefits. I'm not slagging it off at all. You've got your rules, you've got your structure, and you've got to have your safety certificate, and you've got to do all this assessment. And 3-gun, and that's like the F1 of shooting, very precise, very particular. And then 3-gun's like NASCAR. It's like, yeah, just drop a big engine in it and just go for it. Safety, what? So just go. Of course, 3-gun is still incredibly safe out in the States. I'm not saying it isn't, but they do have a little bit more of a tally-ho approach, and worrying less about the particulars. As long as you're keeping it pointed down range and you're not doing anything dangerous, have at it. Which is why I love 3-gun so much. It's just so you just don't get certain things in IPSC because of the rules. Have you ever been to the Great Sandy Shoot? No, I haven't. Very almost were going to Knob Creek before Kentucky was cancelled, because of course at the beginning of April, I think April the 3rd, we were planning to head out to Kentucky with American shooting trips, and we were also going to stop off at a Knob Creek machine gun shoot. Obviously that's been postponed. It's in October now, so we will be going out to Kentucky in October, but there won't be any machine gun shooting at Knob Creek, unfortunately, which is such a shame, because I was so ecstatic when I found out that the dates matched up with both of those, because shooting at Knob Creek, night shoot, full autos, that's a bucket list for any shooter. Wayne Hemmings, how hard is it to change a Section 2 shotgun to a Section 1 in the UK? Okay, give me a second. Well, Connors has already jumped in there. Connors, what's the point of me being here? You're just answering all the questions anyway. But to expand on that a little bit, so for those of you that don't know, we have 2 classifications of shotguns in the UK, basically restricted or unrestricted. The restricted ones are restricted to 2 in the tube, so you have 2 in the chamber, 2 in the tube, 1 in the chamber, leading to the expression of 2+1. They go on a Section 2 license because they're restricted and can be owned by somebody with a shotgun license. Anything with a larger capacity or a detachable magazine has to go onto an FAC. So We just to let you know, Hampshire today, I just got the email, so I will get back in touch with you very shortly. But yeah, so section 1, it's a firearm certificate. They are harder to get hold of because the government deem them to be more dangerous, whatever. But yeah, to transfer them, it is purely a matter of paperwork. So in the actual legality sense, it is just the stroke of a pen, and you can actually do it. We always recommend to go to a gun shop, because then you know everything's going to be above board, everything's going to be right, more importantly. But you can do it at home. Literally, you like sell it to yourself. You sell it from yourself, from your SGC to the FAC, and you just sign it in yourself. That's what I've heard a lot of people doing. Of course, there is the actual physical conversion of it, which is usually removing a tube or modifying a tube. So I know some guns are particularly hard to take the crimp out of it, or to take the old tube out of it. I know something like a Benelli M2 or a Supernova, a Stoger M3K, or they come on M3000, Stoger M3000 or Benelli M2. You can get them in both section 2, and literally in a matter of seconds you can convert them into a section 1. So yeah, really straightforward. But yeah, as Connor said, just go to your gun shop. You know everything's going to be done right, everything's going to be done correctly, and you're not going to get yourself into any trouble. Guys asking about holsters, I guess. Hopner and Schumann holsters are available from Bluefield Sports here, so anything you want from their range, Bluefield Sports can get them. World Gun Owners Association. Hi Paul, how's it going? I haven't had any biltong recently. You know, things are getting a bit desolate out there. But yeah, guys, if you don't know, World Gun Owners Association is a group on Facebook. There are a few of them now. So there's a British Gun Owners Association. I believe there's even an Australian Gun Owners Association. But the World Gun Owners Association is the big sort of main group, and it's run by a brilliant guy called Paul, who loves trying to break my shoulders. And that's actually what he's talking about. I'll have the 18 pellet buckshot load prototypes ready tomorrow. 72 grams, joy. You really know how to treat a man, don't you, Paul? But yeah, World Gun Owners Association. Go onto Facebook, search for them, join the group. It's a brilliant conversation pot from all gun enthusiasts across the world. So really, I don't think many topics are off limits there. Obviously, be polite, be sensible, don't be too stupid. But it's a real great conversation pot for people all over the world. Oh god, it's gone off to oblivion again. Just catching up. Sin City Gun Guy. Yes, I've got a case of the Corona. I've got another 4-pack in the drawer as well, just in case things get really bad. I really like that's like what makes me worry the most out of all of this, right? People actually stopping not buying. People not buying Corona because of it's got the same name. I mean, like, oh come on, like, is that really where we're heading? Like, is that really the society? Although saying that, the day after lockdown, people went and thought it was okay to go on the beach. So yeah, that is. Oh, did you hear about talking about this, the influencer was out in LA that did the toilet seat challenge. And he went and licked a public toilet seat because of the gram, and contracted coronavirus. Well, yeah, serves you right, mate. That's just karma in spades, really, isn't it? Like, it does make me wonder sometimes. Really does make me wonder. Sam Test, where can you shoot a rifle in Dartford, Kent area? So I know that there's a practical club. I don't know if they do 2.2 mini rifle. I know that they obviously do shotgun. Trying to think of that area. Unfortunately, I don't know anywhere for rifle, but there is the Maidstone club. I'm sure Connors will pipe up in a second and give you the name of that club. So you might be able to get in contact with them. I think it's like Maidstone Rifle Pistol Club, something like that. Hopefully I got that right. Scott, I would love to show you and Connors some tag rounds. We will still have to sort something out when this all blows over. Absolutely, that sounds like a good day out. I do really appreciate it. I like a lot of these offers I get. Because they might be all over the world sometimes. I do get a fair amount of offers to go out to the States. I am incredibly humbled and appreciative of any offers to go to any ranges or try guns. It's what I love doing. That's why I do it full time. But yeah, if I can't, I can't always make everything, but I will try to make everything I can because I just like shooting. Samuel Robinson, are you planning on shooting in the Ely Speed still in June if it doesn't get cancelled by the virus? Well, it depends on the exact date, but if it doesn't conflict with our trip out to Denmark, absolutely. I shot the first Ely Speed still and kept saying that I was going to do the others. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to. Just work got in the way or other obligations, unfortunately, but I had an awesome time at the first one and I've been itching to do it again. So absolutely, if I can make it, I will be there. And of course, if the virus doesn't cancel it. So Carl just confirming as well, the 25k entry fee is Jesus. So there's, guys, if you're out of the loop on this one, so Carl's been saying that there's going to be a match across 5 states in America. It's $25,000 to enter, and first place gets $500,000. I mean, that's epic, right? That's in its own right, it's epic. But what I instantly think about then is fantastic, because if that sort of, okay, not everyone is going to be able to hook up 25 grand to go and enter it, but it shows you where shooting's going. If there's a demand for that, and that's the sort of money that's being paid out in prizes, it's only going to help create more professional, superstar celebrity shooters. I keep on saying that's what we need more of in the UK. And again, ties in nicely to the speed still. I was incredibly impressed with the prize table. I mean, one guy I think walked away with £2,000 or £3,000 at the last one, or one of them. And as soon as companies are putting that sort of money on the table, it's, hopefully it won't take long until we can have sort of professional full-time shooters in the UK scene. I know there are shooters that do go out professionally, but they go across the world. We don't seem to have apart from clay shooting, I'm of course talking practical. We do have professional clay shooters, but to have more sort of practical full-time professional shooters would be absolutely insane. So yeah, $500,000. If someone wants to sponsor me 25k to go and shoot that, I happily will. That would be absolutely epic. Well, that comment is going. Yeah, sorry, let me just have a quick. Yeah, I'm really sorry. I don't know why I'm apologising, but Adam Scott, anyone that's read his messages, he is. Oh no! How did I? Yeah, sorry. I'm just not having that. Just not having that at all on the channel. Why would you ever think that's acceptable to go and put on my feed? Jesus, some people Adam, if you like the videos, if you like the channel, fair enough, thank you for watching, but that's just, I don't want to be associated with that any time. So I apologize for anyone that saw that. That's not the sort of thing that I support or condone in any which way. Completely unacceptable. Yeah, Carl Volt, Adam, your FEO would deny that. Yeah, it would. And Adam, if you have any aspirations of being an FAC holder and your firearms licensing department is aware of those comments, I can tell you they take comments online very, very seriously. Very seriously. So yeah. Oh, I posted earlier and said I was busy making some biltong to send. Thank you, Paul. Oh, I love you. Just make sure it's without the COVID-19, please. That would be the best. But But yeah, really appreciate you. Oh, love you, guy. We need to make some deer biltong. That's definitely up there on one of the top videos I want to go and make. Obviously, once this is all blown over, you know, it's not imperative we go out and make deer biltong at the moment, although could probably justify it just about. But yeah, no, let's wait until everything's blown over and everything's a bit more normal. But really looking forward to doing that with you. Forward to seeing how that will taste as well. So Michael, with regards to home loading videos, how is it that there are countless loading videos on YouTube? Yeah, that's a bit of a question. As far as the rules, as far as I'm aware with the rules, Michael, you're not allowed. It violates YouTube's terms of service with that. So they're risking their whole channel. I mean, that's the thing is, and that's why I'm not prepared to put anything out, unfortunately, because I'm just not going to take the risk. It's too easy to get your channel shut down, and I'm certainly not going to go out there doing something that I'm pretty confident is against their terms of service. If there are people out there doing it, well, happy days, because it's something that's perfectly legitimate and legal, even in the UK. Imagine that. But yeah, they can. We should be sharing those sorts of skills, but obviously YouTube, oh, it's guns, run away. Yeah, there you go. I was talking about the club earlier, Maidstone Pistol Club for rifles, so get in contact with them. If you need any more help, or you need to be put in contact, or need some contact details, drop Magload a message through Facebook, and Connors will be able to provide you with all of the details that you need. And as I say that, Paul's started sending me photos of future biltong. I'm quite hungry now. Haven't had any dinner or any lunch for that matter, so thanks for that, Paul. Paul Mags, I'm not exactly in the position to take to make jabs at people's names, being called Callum Long Collins, but Paul Mags, don't you like Paul Mags? Mag Paul? Brilliant. Maybe that's the joke. I don't know. Maybe that is your real name. Fantastic. You should be sponsored by Magpul. Absolutely. Anyway, to your question, what was your favourite gun/rifle that you fired? Oh God. That's like asking what your favourite child is. I mean, I could be really cliche and just go for one of the full autos. Okay, no, I will narrow it down to one range experience. I'll do that. So, whilst I was out in Utah for work a number of years ago, I went to a place called Get Some Guns and Ammos. They are dotted around, I think there's 2 or 3 stores around the Salt Lake City area. And I walked in, and they had a load of machine guns on the wall. And I shot an MP5 for the first time in full auto, and I also shot a Smith & Wesson 500 for the first time. That, I have to say, is probably from expectation to what actually happened, the best experience, because I wasn't sure. I'd been out in LA the week prior to that, and I'd been to a place called Oak Tree Gun Club. If you're ever in that area, go to it. It's fantastic. There's a video. There's a few videos of me shooting out at Oak Tree. So yeah, I went there. They had a 500 but didn't have any ammunition, and I was desperate to shoot it. So I'd ended up going to this Salt Lake City gun shop, gun range, just on the off chance that they had one. They did, and they had an MP5. So I went from basically, I'm really down because I missed out on shooting one, to getting to put 10 shot through it. I've had some incredible days out on the range with Kentucky Firearms Club as well. Oh God, it's so difficult because I keep thinking of stuff like the Cobalt Kinetic full autos. They were pretty incredible. Oh, they were pretty incredible. But no, I think it has to be the 500 and the MP5. I have a real soft spot for both of those guns. But yeah, that's a hard thing. I just put an asterisk next to that because that's likely to change until I remember something else. I mean, shooting a 50 cal as well, that was a hell of a big experience. But with with the 500, even though it's a hell of a round, you do experience the gun. Like you do feel it, if you get what I mean. You get a sense. You can you can review it a little better. With a 50 cal, it doesn't matter what 50 cal you're shooting, it's a 50 cal. So yeah. Anyway, Smith & Wesson 500, probably my favorite handgun I've ever shot, just because it's the daddy. It's like just overwhelming, the experience. And an MP5, I just love the MP5. Like, it's my favorite full auto. Absolutely. So Tarak Mahmood, I think the Ely Speed Still is on the 25th of July. Okay, cool. I should be able to make that. That should work. So hopefully I will see you there, I guess. Hopefully. Yeah, Steve, if everything blows over and I'm free on the day, hopefully I will see you there. It's always great to interact face to face with people that support the channel and watch the channel as well. Best gun on the market, Browning XS Pro, in your opinion? Let me just remind myself on that. I mean, firstly, you're wrong, because it's a Browning. Like, if it's going to be any gun, it would be a Beretta. Yeah, it just doesn't do it for me. Like, it might be a fantastic, great gun, but Brownings just don't do it for me. I'm a Beretta guy. Like, where is it? Can you see? But yeah, it's like I've Beretta on the wall, So, and my first ever live fire gun was a Beretta shotgun. So, I'm going to be a little bit biased on that. So Magload, will you offer a belt kit option with the saving compared? Yeah, as Connors has said, it's something we do discuss a lot of ideas. There are a lot of things that get thrown across the office all the time, both verbally and physically. I mean, I think if you put anyone in a container with Connors and I for any prolonged period of time, you're going to be chucking stuff at us by the end of it. That's for certain. But yeah, the Maglo does do a rifle package now. So if you're looking to kit out a 1522 and you want to get a bit of a sort of a package discount, then there's that available. There's an element package and a pro package there, so there's a little discount on that. But all I'm going to say is just keep an eye out on Magload for the short time. Just have a bit of patience, maybe a week or so. We'll see what comes. But yeah, Ham should say MP5 is my favourite gun for sure. There's just something about it. Maybe it's because I'm like the ultimate Die Hard fan, or like, does Die Hard have like a special place in my heart because of the MP5, or does the MP5 have a special place in my heart because of Die Hard? Sort of like a chicken and egg thing. Did I like the gun before the film or the film before the gun? Don't know. But yeah, again, just MP5. Oh, the slap. I really should pick up like a 2.2 version when I got a license, but then it's got to be 9mm. Someone's saying, pity we can't get the 500 in LBR form. So again, for those of you that don't know about our laws, we have long-barreled pistols and long-barreled revolvers. So we have short and long guns in the UK. It's all done by length. Obviously, we can't have short guns anymore. They were taken away, apart from in black powder. And muzzle loaders even. And we add a long barrel and a long rod onto the gun, which makes it effectively a rifle, legally a rifle. And we could have a 500 in LBR form. It wouldn't be prohibited. You're allowed centre fire revolvers. There was the Taurus, 44 and 357. There's the Chiappa Rhino now as well, which I believe is available in 9mm, 44 and 357, I believe. There's nothing in our laws that would prohibit us from having a long-barreled revolver Smith & Wesson 500. So if by any chance any of you guys happen to know anyone that works in Smith & Wesson, please, if they were to bring 10 into the country, they would sell tomorrow. Well, obviously not at the moment, but when things have calmed down just a little bit, like I know I could name off 10 people that would go out. They would go and get a credit card and buy one tomorrow if they didn't have the money, because that would just be absolutely awesome. Paulo, do you know if it's possible to go deer hunting with a 45-70 lever action rifle? Yes, I think we actually discussed this last week or even the week before, and I think Alex, I think he said it was a yes. I know there are some restrictions, certainly in the UK, of what you can use to shoot deer, but I think that would suffice. I mean, obviously you'd want to make sure that it's humane and it would be a clean kill. I'm not a huge I'm not a huge stalk. Like, I've never been stalking in the UK. It's something I definitely want to tick off, and get a bit more experience and knowledge about. But there are people with far better knowledge on that than I am. So, but I think a 45-70 underlever would be okay for deer. I think, but don't quote me on that. Now I have a machine gun. Yes, indeed. I've even got that T-shirt. It's a classic. It's the best Christmas film. Hands down the best Christmas film. JK Harry, what can we do to lessen the gun laws? Be positive. I mean, it's just about addressing misinformation. A lot of the laws and certainly further restrictions that are put on us are born out of misconceptions about the antis, giving the wrong impression of what exactly we do. It's like terms like assault rifle. Like, it's like very few people actually own an assault rifle. It's wording like that. So to me, I'm sort of showing you what I think is the best way to lessen our laws, which is promote our sport, to get as many people into the sport as possible, share it to as many people. You give as true a reflection of what shooting sports is really about, so that people have a minimum level of understanding about what shooting sports and gun ownership is actually about here in the UK. Unfortunately, we do get a lot of stick from people thinking that it's like America. I'm not criticizing the way that the gun culture is out in America. I think there are improvements that could be made, but it's not the best. I don't think it's necessarily the best example to show to people. And when people think that we want our laws to be like America, it instantly shuts down the conversation of getting anything actually done. And that's not the case. We don't want a Second Amendment. That's not what we're asking for. We are asking to not have guns needlessly banned, because it shows absolutely no reduction in crime in any statistics, in any form, in any country, that banning a particular type of gun actually has any effect on crime. In the UK, actually, it went up. That is the only statistics, is that if you ban a gun, you will see more crime with that particular type of gun. So yeah, I just think, while Connors is maybe going for the sort of more straightforward approach, which is lobby your MP, but at the moment, let's say, there's 750,000 license holders. Well, if all those 750,000 license holders go out and start making videos and start posting on Facebook and start sharing that sport and sharing the sport, and they all get one new person to join, well, in the first year, that's 1.5 million. And then that 1.5 million shares and shares and shares, and they get another person into the sport in a year. Well, by year 2, we're at 3 million, and then 6, and that's how it grows. And I think really, when we have the sort of 6 million, when we have 10% of the population shooting, that is really when we will have a lot more clout politically, and when politicians will have to listen to what we want and what we think is right, basically. So just growing the sport, I really think that is the best way to get more people, to get the laws, I won't say relaxed. I mean, they quoted me that on the BBC, saying, oh, this guy wants the laws relaxed. No, I want them changed. I don't like the word relaxed. Like, I like the fact that there are measures in place that make it a little bit more difficult to get a gun in the UK. I support that. A minimum level of proficiency in education first before doing that. I know my American viewers are going, what? You're probably sat there calling me anti-gun. think of us like Canada. You know, we're not anti-gun, just not as free as you, I guess is the best way of putting it. Anyway, so yeah, I've seen a number of new questions and comments come in, so please, you know, keep them coming. I will answer as many as I can. So Richard Bray, you can add me to that list. Well, I'll note you down. Maybe Bluefield Sports should bring them in. I don't know. I'll talk to Alex. But yeah, I would easily be able to name off 10 people easily now with Richie on there as well. Steve, yeah. So maybe the 10 people that I would have to call out that would want the 500 LBR are actually watching this video right now, which maybe there's a marketing ploy right there. So Paul Maggs, watched your last streaming video on LBP. Would you recommend buying the Glock LBP or stick to the classics for practical shooting? What do you mean by the classics? Do you mean by like the 1911s? Unfortunately, if David Kiddle is still here, under the weather, yeah, I've got a bit of a blocked nose. Maybe it's this. I think it's the weather. Like, I've never suffered from hay fever, but seriously, the last few weeks I've you know, sneezing in the mornings and stuff like that. So, but I don't feel ill. Just a bit of a blocked nose happens occasionally. I'll get over it, I'm sure. Sorry, what were we talking about? You interrupted me, CJ. Oh yes, sorry, Paul. The LBP that I would always recommend is the Walther PPQ, hands down. Like, you know, again, sorry David if you're still watching. It's not saying that the Glock is a bad gun. The PPQ is just so good. Like, it's, you know, there are only like 10 CIP 22s about. You know, there are hundreds of Walther PPQs. There's more accessories for them now. Well, obviously Glock, there's loads of accessories for Glock, but I would recommend the PPQ. I get on with it brilliantly. It's a stunningly reliable rifle, pistol. Well, technically, legally, it is a rifle. Cycles pretty much everything. We've been shooting subsonics previously. Well, I haven't. I was with Connors. I've seen subsonics run through it, let's just say, and it's yeah, really my number one for a recommendation for a long barrel pistol. But if you're interested in having a look at the Glock, get in contact with Bluefield Sports. They have one on display. They can sort you out, or Caliber Innovations, as it was Caliber that bought them in. Yeah, so, you know, I don't just take my opinion on it, but I would highly recommend the PPQ. Would the 4570 for deer hunting have enough velocity? I don't know. I honestly don't know. It would, yeah, again, I would welcome somebody a lot more experienced with a lot more knowledge on the subject matter to chip in. I mean, the 4570 is a stonking round. Like, it's certainly going to have stopping power. That's for certain. Otto, you need to try the Gram Power Strigbog A3 delay blowback. Ooh, okay, let's have a quick Google of that. See what that's like. You're saying that people think that's better than the MP5. I mean, that's a hell of a claim. That's a hell of a claim right there. If you've got one, Otto, and you want to bring it down, we can have a look. I mean, obviously, I'm assuming it will be Section 5, so we won't be able to shoot it ourselves. But Alex is actually a servant of a Section 5 RFD, so at least he might be have some fun if you've got one. But yeah, I'd love to try one. You know, I mean, I'm willing to fall on the sword to test it to see if it's better than the MP5. That's, you know, I know it's difficult, you know, but sometimes you just gotta, you know, you just suck it up and do it, don't you? Richie Bray, yes, it doesn't help when you have people inside the shooting community throwing other disciplines under the bus. Mike Yardley, there we go. Oh, sorry, is that my It's getting a stuffy throat now as well. Yeah, it doesn't. It really doesn't. And that's the one thing. Like, guys, if I ever do it, if I ever try and throw a discipline under the bus, if I ever slag off a discipline, slagging off the people that do it is different to the discipline, just to make that differentiation. But if I ever slag off a discipline or try and throw another discipline under the bus, tell me. Like hold me to account, because it is literally the worst thing we could be doing as a community. You know, because, you know, what the danger, and this is why it always pisses me off with Mike Yardley, is that he has credibility. You know, the news organisations take him as credible. So when he says, "Oh, we don't need a 2.2 straight pull or AR-15 assault rifle," they go, "Oh, well, here's a guy with credibility within the shooting industry telling us that they don't need this discipline, they don't need this AR." And Mike, you know, he says, "Oh, you know, I've had experience in the army." Like, the rumours are that he never actually graduated. So, you know, he doesn't know his arse from his elbow when it comes to anything practical. And he does like say, "Oh, I used to shoot practical pistol." Yeah, like 30 years ago. Things have moved on there since there, Mike, you know. But yeah, anyway, you know, I just won't dwell on Mike Yardley any more than I need to. Oh, that's a good question, CJ. So CJ is part of the Gunroom TV team. When I say the Gunroom TV team, like, he helps with everything. He works with us on everything that we do, but also runs the 617, which of course you should definitely. Oh, so sorry, gear review, but your message was held for review. Mike Yardley is a twat. No, I don't see anything wrong with that one. That can be shown. So CJ has asked, what guns will I be applying for when you get your FAC? Yes. A lot. There's seriously a lot. And I'm not doing it. I'm sure they will think I'm doing it just to be awkward or to take the piss. At the end of the day, I've been a full member of a Home Office approved club for like 5 years now. I work in a gun shop. By that point, I will probably be a servant of that gun shop. I spend all my day doing stuff in the shooting industry. So to say that I can't justify having a lot of guns for all of the different disciplines that I regularly will try and do is going to be a bit hard for them. But I think like, obviously the guns that I instantly like have back on my ticket will be the 1522. It will be the obviously my Beretta, Silver Pigeon. What other guns do I still have? My friend's shotgun, and he hasn't shot that in like 4 years. Like, that's the saddest thing, is that I can't take him anymore to shoot that gun. My granddad's shotgun will get signed onto there straight away. The Stoger that I use for practical shooting, that will get signed onto there. I don't know if I'm going to keep that section 2 or if I will convert it to section 1. But in terms of the slots that I want to go for, so I think it's going to be 3 section 1 shotguns, 3 long barreled pistols, 223, 2 223s, a 308, 357 underlever, a 44 underlever, 357 or maybe 9mm LBP, LBR even. Is that about it? I think, what else? Oh, 303, 762 by 54R. I am having a Mosin again. God, I love that gun. And that's the gun that really, actually, out of all the guns, pisses me off the most, that I had to get rid of, because they're worth like twice as much now. I bought that gun for like 250 quid. They're like £500 plus now, but I will have another one. God, what else? That's probably about it. I mean, I could just jump on the bandwagon and say 6.5 Creedmoor, but I genuinely don't have a use for one of those at the moment. Maybe when I start doing a bit more target shooting, that will change. But yeah, so I'm talking 3, gonna run out of fingers here, but 3 section 1 shotguns, 3 LBPs, 2 223s, 308s, 357, 44, the LBR, Mosin, and Enfield. I still think I'm missing some. But that's 14. So I'll be applying for 14 shots. Jesus. Slots. It's getting late now. But yeah, that's what I will. I'll be going for. You know, and I genuinely, again, I'm like not taking the piss with that. I have a genuine reason for every single one of those, and disciplines that I want to go and do, and sports that I want to go and do. Any suggestions? What do you think? Is there anything else that I'm missing off there that you can think of that I should include? But I mean, like 14 is what I had after my variation before the license got taken away, and I genuinely felt that was like the perfect amount. It was like everything I would ever need for every discipline or every eventuality. I mean, if I start getting into deer stalking, then maybe I might go for a 243. If I seriously get into long range stuff, then there's always the 338, but I don't know how I would ever afford to be able to feed that thing, especially when Alex has one already sat in the gun room, which hopefully, you know, when it permits, I would be able to borrow, so then I don't have to worry about the thousands of pounds on the rifle. I can just worry about the hundreds of pounds on the ammunition. But yeah, so yeah, also saying definitely, mate, welcome anytime. If you're going to bring Section 5 stuff down here for us to have a look at, just the gate is open for you anytime. But yeah, so that's it. That's pretty much everything that I want to go for. I swear I'm missing stuff. No, I think. Oh no, 9mm, a 9mm rifle. That's the only other thing, actually, a 9mm rifle. So probably the Siskar 9, a 9mm straight pull. And some black powder, actually. No, I'm going to be applying for some black powder. I'm definitely going to be looking at some Allen Westlakes. So yeah, I mean, so it's 14, 15 with the 9mm, couple of Allen Westlakes. So I'm looking at 17. I mean, for an initial application, that's pretty stonking, but like, you know, I've been waiting 4 years. I'm actively shooting all of the time, so I've, you know, massively been held back, obviously, with the lack of licenses, and I just can't wait to throw myself in. And seriously, I will go out and get all of that, and I will use them every single week without fail. I guess it's one of the perks of having a range on site and being a member of Kentucky Firearms Club, which is a fantastic club supporting all the disciplines that you can do, which helps you again justify the need for having them. You can you use more than 3 shells in a pump action shotgun under an FAC? Yes. Yeah, well, again, Connors, stop beating me to it, for God's sake. Oh, Richie Bray, a Canon. Oh God, yes, I've got to get a Canon. Maybe you can help me out on that. But again, at the moment, I don't have good reason for a Canon. But if you happen to know a club that I could start shooting at with Canons, to give me good reason, that would be amazing. Can you have? I'm going to beat Connors to this. Can you have semi-autos under a Section 5? Yes. That's the I know a few people with semi-autos for Section 5 purposes, because at the end of the day, we still have companies here that will develop things for international markets, and you know, so they need to have the guns here to actually to test it out. Section 5 isn't just handguns and full autos. There are semi-autos there as well. Would the double action AR be lawful for the UK? Yes. No. Yes. No. Yes. Maybe. No. I don't know. That's an double action, because the wording is a projectile for every pull of the trigger. So yeah, it would be illegal. It wouldn't, and like a 223 double action AR would not be illegal, because you would still be getting one projectile for every pull of the trigger, which is the UK definition of semi-auto. What gets you really confused is, like, there's the is it the Chiapa? No, the Taurus, the revolving rifle, which obviously is like, but that's a revolver, and that's why it sort of gets round that. So but yeah, you made me think there.
you should definitely buy a Chieftain tank. They're legal. I mean, the bang bit isn't legal, but if I had the money. Yeah, and Connors has confirmed. I beat you to it, Connors. Well, no, did I? Because this is on a delay, so this is probably still behind his message. Can't win. A double action would be illegal, but I don't know of one that exists unless a revolver. Yeah, exactly what I said. So I did beat you to it, Connors, honestly. So we've hit the 2-hour mark. We normally do these for an hour on Facebook, but because Alex hasn't had to go and I'm not keeping Connors from going home, it's run quite nicely to 2 hours. But unless there's anything else you guys are desperate to ask or desperate to talk about, hi Stephen, unfortunately you're joining quite late to the party, but I think I might wrap it up there, guys. I'll give you a few minutes just to just to ask any questions, because I know we're on a delay. I'll just have a swig of my drinks and sort of mind my own business for a second. But yeah, any other things you want to talk about, anything pressing, let me know. Again, if you're still here, please hit the thumbs up button. It's all about overcoming the YouTube analytics and sharing this to as many people as possible, getting as many people interested in shooting sports. So please do take it. Like, literally, if you're there and you haven't, it's like a click. That's all I'm asking for. It's not much. Please. It doesn't even give me any money. It's not even about that. It's just purely about sharing what we do, sharing the sports. Yes, Lola. Well, it's appropriate, isn't it, Stephen? Coronavirus. Maybe a little bit insensitive, but I've got another question. James, thanks for asking our questions. Anytime. I generally do enjoy it. I don't profess to be the oracle when it comes to everything shooting, but I've been around a bit now and experienced quite a bit. So if I can answer your questions, I'm always happy to. Do people who go to the US to shoot find it unusual that Americans can go around with a gun in public with a carry permit? Yeah. Even as somebody who is very comfortable with guns and being around guns all the time, I was out in funny story, funny connection. Where's the screen? That green, there we go, that green alien there. Oh god, everything's reversed. This is very strange. That green alien there, a genuine certified Roswell alien, because I ended up going to Roswell, New Mexico, the Roswell, for work a couple of years ago, and there was the Roswell Gun Club or gun range or shooting club or whatever, and I dropped them a message just on the off chance, and said, look, I'm a Brit, I love guns, I love shooting, any chance you could hook something up? And Ron, a guy called Ron, who was the chairman, literally couldn't do enough for me. Literally bent over backwards. I think his son ended up taking a day off work, and they emptied their cabinets. Took me, I think I've told you guys this before, but they took me to Walmart. We met out in a Walmart car park, and we went to buy ammunition. It was literally any caliber you see and you want to shoot it, buy it, because I've got a gun that will shoot it. And he wasn't kidding. So yeah, and there was this moment we stood there, and I can't remember what I said, but I said about carrying guns and stuff like that, and he just sort of lifts up his coat, and he's got a it was a 10mm 1911 or 10mm 2011. It was gorgeous. It was a Remington, I think Remington 1911 10mm. Don't quote me on that. And his son, flicked out his jacket, and it was he had a gun. I can't remember what he had on his hip, but they were both concealed. And even as somebody who was quite, au fait with guns and, comfortable, I was still a bit that's cool. That's it. Just, we're not used to it. So yes, it does. I don't necessarily think it's unusual, or certainly not scary, but it does make you. When we were out for Utah a couple of years ago with American Shooting Trips, we were in it was a Walmart in Las Vegas, and there was a guy open carry with a Glock, and all of us just, it was. I can't describe it. It's fascination. it's like the rumors are true. You know, like we know Americans carry guns both open and concealed, but to actually see it in person, like even in the UK, you know, normally when I see a police officer with a gun, I'm like, ooh, MP5. But yeah, just to see a normal guy in just shorts and flip flops and a vest with his kid around Walmart carrying a Glock on his side, it's definitely fascinating. It's definitely intriguing for Brits. That's for certain. Have got my shotgun license last year. How hard is it to get an FAC? It's a little bit harder. Durex Gym. Nice name. It's a little bit harder. Obviously, you need to either have a mentor if you're hunting and going through that route, or you need to be a full member of a Home Office approved club. But it's not, you know, if you've got an SGC, it's only a couple of extra steps, couple of extra bits of paper to get your FAC to just go and do it. Richie Bray, did you get a load of Corona cheap? No, it was gone. Like, I know people were, you know, they weren't buying it, but as soon as it was the only option, shelves were bare. Is Section 7 where you can collect guns? Yeah, that's the sole reason of Section 7. Section 7.3. So there's, I believe this is correct. Anybody, if I got this wrong, please correct me. But Section 7.1 allows you to have the guns at home, but without any ammunition. Section 7.3 allows you to, oh yeah, and also on 7.1, you cannot shoot the gun. It is purely as a collector's thing. But for Section 7.3, you keep it at a secure range, so you can't take it home unless you're a Section 5 dealer, and then you go to the range and you can shoot it. But yeah, it's purely for sort of historical purposes. It was born out of obviously the pistol ban, where a lot of serious collectors and museums, they were like, well, hang on a minute, I've literally got a piece of history here that's priceless, and you're telling me I have to destroy it. So they brought in Section 7.3 to enable certain guns to be saved, ones that have historic significance. They used to be, or probably still is, it was historical significance or significant technological advancement. So I know a couple of people managed to swing getting Glocks under a 7.3 because it was like a first gen Glock, and the Glock was a significant technical advancement, technological advancement. Can't get my words out. But yeah, it is there for collecting. Have Brass Bullets 8888. Have you got an FAC or an SGC? You're very late to the party on this one. No. Oh no. Have you? Oh, okay. So you are aware that I don't have one. Okay. So no. May. I've been told I can reapply. May. I went through. The beer's warm. It is warm. I'm still drinking it. No, I don't. But yeah, Brass Bullets 8888. I don't have an FAC at the moment. I've been told I can reapply in May, which I will be doing on the 1st of May. So yeah. So keep the space. It's technically, well, it's only about a month now until I apply. Well, obviously with everything's going on, they're not processing new applications, so I don't know how long it could be. Hampshire has been taking anywhere between a month and 3 months for new applications, I've been told. So I'm sure that will change. There will be a massive backlog after this current mess is all sorted out. But yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, by the end of the year, I should have an FAC back, an SGC back. Stephen Wall, Sierra's in Virginia, and our American friend let us open carry on his property. Then when we went to Walmart, he was carrying, but he was like, "Yeah, you guys can't carry." Yeah. It's the joys of having the freedom of being an American citizen. You know, that's, yeah. I'm obviously not going to get into the discussion of whether I agree or support all of that, because that's usually what gets me into trouble. But you know, the Americans have the freedom. They have the Second Amendment. They have the right to defend themselves. So, you know, that's their way of culture. But there we go. So I gave you guys a one last chance to ask some questions, but I am going to have to go home and have some dinner now and certainly some sleep. Thank you everyone for joining us, or joining me even. I'm used to having a sidekick. Connor's to my side, but he has been here in spirit via text. But yeah, really appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, please hit that thumbs up button and really give the analytics a boost for the channel and the video. I don't really know what's going to happen in the future. I think from now there are going to be a few videos at home. I'm going to try and isolate, as I think everyone should do, as much as possible. But there's plenty of stuff. There's probably about 6 videos either that are done or ready to go out, waiting on certain permissions. So there's loads of content to go out still, loads of videos. I'm working on loads of videos as well, and I've got loads of videos I can film from home as well. So probably YouTube next week for the live stream. You know, you guys have seemed to enjoy it. The stats have been great, loads of people joining in, which I'm really appreciative of. So yeah, maybe next week we'll do it on YouTube as well. Certainly if we're not back in the gun room and I'm not handling guns, well, I can continue using YouTube. But yeah, Hampshire today, 13 months in Hampshire for my application. Yeah, well, my initial application took 6 months as well. I know of people that have taken 12 months. Yeah, thanks for the support, guys. Really appreciate it. But I think that's going to be it. Again, thank you everyone for tuning in and watching it. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Please hit the thumbs up button if you're new to the channel and you want to subscribe for more live streams and videos. Please hit the subscribe button as well. And as always, guys, I hope to see you soon. Oh no, that was so smooth. That was going so smooth. I'll see you later, guys.